The genetic counselor's hands were shaking when she closed my granddaughter's file. "Mr. Thompson," she said, "these results are biologically impossible." I had no idea that those 3 words, biologically impossible, would unravel 25 years of lies. Or that the man I called Dad had stolen more than just one night. It started 3 weeks earlier. My daughter Jennifer called me at 6 in the morning, which meant something was wrong. Parents learn that instinct, the early phone call, the voice pitched half an octave too high. "Dad, Lily won't stop bleeding. Her gums. We're at Children's Hospital." I made it there in 15 minutes. Jennifer was in the ER bay holding my granddaughter, 2 years old, blonde curls, matted with sweat, a SpongeBob bandage on her arm where they'd drawn blood. Lily saw me and reached out her little hands. "Pop, pop." I took her from Jennifer. She was so light. Too light, maybe. I'd coached youth baseball for 20 years. I knew what healthy kids felt like. The doctor came in an hour later, Dr. Ramirez, young guy, maybe 35, with the kind of face that tries very hard not to show bad news. "We're seeing some concerning markers in Lily's blood work," he said. "Her white cell count is elevated and her platelets are extremely low. We need to run more tests, but I want to be transparent with you. We're looking at a possible leukemia diagnosis." Jennifer's hand found mine, squeezed. Her husband Marcus was on a business trip in Denver, wouldn't be back until tomorrow. It was just us. "What kind of leukemia?" I asked. "If confirmed, it would be acute lymphoblastic leukemia with a rare genetic subtype. It's treatable, but she'll need aggressive chemotherapy and possibly a bone marrow transplant." Jennifer started crying. Quiet crying, the kind where you're trying not to scare your kid. Lily was playing with my watch, oblivious. "What do we do?" Jennifer whispered. "We test the family," Dr. Ramirez said. "Parents first, then siblings, grandparents, extended family if needed. Siblings are the best match statistically, but Lily's an only child, so we cast a wider net." "Test everyone," I said, "whatever she needs." Dr. Ramirez nodded. "I'll have the transplant coordinator reach out. Try to stay positive. We've had excellent outcomes with familial donors." The diagnosis came back confirmed 2 days later. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia, high-risk genetic subtype. Jennifer moved into our house so Catherine could help with Lily while Jennifer and Marcus navigated the treatment plan. My wife had always been good in a crisis, organized, efficient, the kind of person who makes spreadsheets for chemotherapy schedules. Lily started her first round of chemo on a Tuesday. She threw up 17 times that week. I counted. The bone marrow donor testing happened the following Monday. The whole family showed up at the hospital outpatient center. Me, Catherine, Jennifer, my 2 sons, Michael Jr., and Ryan. Even my father William came, though at 79 he was a long shot. He'd been slowing down the past few years, forgetting names, repeating stories. Early dementia, his doctor said. Not bad yet, but getting there. The testing itself was simple. Cheek swab, blood draw, done in 10 minutes per person. We sat in the waiting room afterward like it was a family reunion nobody wanted to attend. Michael Jr. was scrolling his phone. Ryan was doing a crossword. Catherine kept flipping through a magazine without reading it. I noticed she hadn't turned the page in 5 minutes. My father sat next to Catherine. His hand rested on the arm of her chair, close enough that their fingers almost touched. I'd seen them sit like that 1,000 times. Family dinners, holidays, Lily's birthday parties, my dad and my wife comfortable with each other. I'd always thought it was nice, father and daughter-in-law getting along. I didn't know what I was looking at. "How long for results?" Catherine asked the nurse at the desk. "Preliminary compatibility can take 7 to 10 days, the nurse said. "We're hoping for at least one strong match in a family this size." Catherine nodded, went back to her magazine, still didn't turn the page. My phone buzzed. Text from David, my best friend since high school. "How'd the testing go?" Fine, I typed back. Now we wait. Catherine dropped her phone when the nurse called us back for paperwork. It hit the tile floor screen first. The glass cracked in a perfect lightning bolt from corner to corner. Damn it, Catherine muttered, picking it up. Her hands were shaking. You okay? I asked. Fine, just clumsy. But she wasn't clumsy. Catherine was a litigator, steady hands, steady voice, the kind of person who cross-examined hostile witnesses without spilling coffee. She didn't drop things. I should have known it was an omen. 10 days later, Dr. Sarah Patterson called me. She was the genetic counselor assigned to Lily's case. Late 40s, wire-rimmed glasses, the kind of competence that makes you trust her immediately. Mr. Thompson, can you come to the hospital today? I need to discuss Lily's donor results with you in person. Did we find a match? I asked. A pause. Too long. I'd rather discuss this in person. Can you come in this afternoon, 2 o'clock? I said yes. Didn't tell Catherine she had a deposition she couldn't miss. Drove to Children's Hospital alone, radio off, trying not to think about what discuss in person might mean. Dr. Patterson met me in a small consultation room. Beige walls, box of tissues on the table. Never a good sign. She had a folder, thick, more papers than I'd expected. Mr. Thompson, she started, then stopped, opened the folder, closed it. I've been doing this for 18 years. I've never had to have this conversation before. My stomach dropped. Lily's not compatible with anyone? I asked. No, that's not... She opened the folder again, pulled out a chart, color-coded, highlighted in yellow, numbers I didn't understand. We ran the full genetic panel on all family members, standard protocol. We test not just compatibility markers, but also familial relationships to understand inheritance patterns. Okay. Your results came back normal. You're Lily's biological grandfather through your son-in-law Marcus, his father's side. That's expected. Right. Your wife Catherine's results were also normal for a grandmother. Expected. But Dr. Patterson's finger traced down the chart, stopped at a name. William Thompson. Your father's results show something unusual. He's showing up as Lily's biological great-grandfather, which is correct. He's your father, you're Jennifer's father, Jennifer is Lily's mother. That's 3 generations. Normal. So, what's the problem? She pulled out another sheet, more highlighted sections. This one showed genetic markers, percentages, probability calculations. The problem is that your father is showing up as Lily's great-grandfather through both parental lines. I stared at her. I don't understand. Your father shares genetic markers with Lily through her maternal line, through Jennifer, which makes sense because Jennifer is your daughter and you're his son, but he's also showing genetic markers that suggest he's related to Jennifer through her paternal line, as if Jennifer's father, you, is also William's child. I am William's child. Yes. But the genetic probability model is showing that Jennifer has identical heritage markers from William through both her mother and father. That's only possible if... She stopped. Mr. Thompson, these results suggest that Jennifer's biological parents are both descended from William, which is medically impossible unless... She didn't finish. She didn't have to. Someone isn't who you think they are, she said quietly. The room tilted, not metaphorically. The actual floor seemed to shift under my chair, and I gripped the armrest to keep from falling. Are you saying Jennifer isn't my daughter? Dr. Patterson's hands were shaking now. She clasped them together on top of the file. Mr. Thompson, the genetic markers show a 0% probability that you're Jennifer's biological father, and they show a 99.9% probability that William, your father, is her biological father. 0%. 24 years. First steps, first words, teaching her to ride a bike, walking her down the aisle 3 years ago when she married Marcus, holding Lily in the hospital the day she was born. 0%. How is this possible? I whispered. Dr. Patterson looked at me with something like pity. I can't answer that, but you need to talk to your wife. I sat in my truck in the parking garage for 40 minutes. Couldn't drive. Couldn't think. Just sat there staring at the concrete pillar in front of me with a yellow B7 painted on it. My phone rang. Catherine. Hey, how'd the deposition go? I answered. My voice sounded normal. How was that possible? Fine. Long. I'm exhausted. Are you home? Not yet. Can you pick up dinner? I don't feel like cooking. I almost laughed. She wanted me to pick up dinner. Chinese or Italian, spring rolls or breadsticks. What do you want to eat the day you find out your wife fucked your father? I'll be home soon, I said. I stopped at our storage unit on the way. We'd been meaning to clean it out for years. Boxes from the wedding, old furniture, Christmas decorations we never used anymore. I didn't know what I was looking for. Evidence, maybe. Proof this wasn't real. Jennifer met me there. I texted her, need your help with something, storage unit, don't tell your mother. She showed up in 20 minutes confused. Dad, what's going on? Help me find the wedding video, I said. We dug through boxes. It took an hour. Jennifer found it in a plastic bin labeled Memories 1999, a Sony Handycam 8mm tape, the case dusty, the label faded. Thompson wedding, June 5th, 1999. The tape smelled like basement mildew and broken promises. We took it home. I still had the old camcorder in the basement. Hadn't used it in 15 years, but I'd kept it. Nostalgia, or maybe evidence. The battery was dead. I plugged it in. Jennifer sat next to me on the couch. Dad, seriously, what's this about? I need to see something. The tape loaded. Blue screen flickering, then static. Then my wedding day, the church, St. Michael's, 200 guests. Catherine in her white dress, looking like every dream I'd ever had. Me in my tux, 25 years old, thinking I was the luckiest man alive. The camera, David had been running it, panned across the reception. My mother crying happy tears. Catherine's mom doing the Macarena. Everyone young, everyone smiling. Then my father's toast. William stood up, glass of champagne in hand. 64 years old then, still strong, still sharp. He tapped the glass. The room went quiet. To my son, he said to the camera, and his beautiful bride. May you build something that lasts forever. The camera stayed on him. 3 seconds. 4. His eyes moved down to Catherine's stomach. She wasn't showing, wouldn't show for another 2 months. But he looked at her stomach and smiled. The timestamp in the corner, June 5th, 1999, 10:47 p.m. Jennifer was born March 8th, 2000, 9 months and 3 days later. I hit pause. Dad? Jennifer's voice, small. Why did Grandpa look at Mom's stomach like that? I couldn't answer. I fast-forwarded, found more footage. The reception winding down, Catherine and my father dancing, just one dance, father-in-law and daughter-in-law, perfectly normal, except his hand was on her lower back, too low. Except she leaned into him, just slightly. Except when the song ended, they looked at each other for 3 seconds too long. On the shelf behind the TV, I saw it. The champagne bottle from our wedding night. Catherine had saved it, put it on display in our bedroom for 25 years. From our first night as husband and wife, she'd always said, I'd never noticed that 2 sets of fingerprints were on it. I ejected the tape. My hands were steady now. Shock does that. Shuts down everything unnecessary. Survival mode. Jennifer, I said, I need to tell you something. Catherine came home at 7. I heard her car in the driveway, heard her keys in the lock, heard her heels on the hardwood floor. James, you home? Bedroom. She came upstairs, still in her work clothes, charcoal suit, white blouse, hair pulled back. My wife of 25 years. The woman I'd loved since I was 23 years old. The woman who'd stood at the altar and promised forever. I was sitting on the bed. The genetic report was on the nightstand, the champagne bottle next to it. She saw them, stopped in the doorway. "We need to talk," I said. Catherine's face did something I'd never seen before. A micro expression, there and gone in half a second. Fear and resignation and something else. Relief, maybe, like she'd been waiting for this conversation for 25 years. She closed the bedroom door, sat down in the chair by the window, twisted her wedding ring, once, twice. "Dr. Patterson called you," she said, not a question. "Yes." "What did she tell you?" "That Jennifer isn't my daughter, that my father Catherine, is her biological father, that the genetic test doesn't lie." Catherine closed her eyes. "It was the wedding night," she said, quiet. Lawyer voice, the one she used for rehearsed testimony. "I was drunk, confused. You'd passed out. You had way too much at the reception, remember? I went for a walk to clear my head. Your father was in the hotel bar. He offered to walk me back to my room. And then what? It happened. One time, just that once. I was so ashamed. I never told you because I hoped it didn't matter. When I got pregnant 6 weeks later, I thought the baby was yours. We'd been trying and the timing was close enough, and I convinced myself it was yours. She was good. I had to give her that. 25 years as a litigator, and she could spin anything. But I'd lived with her for a quarter century. I knew when she was lying. You knew, I said. You knew she wasn't mine. I didn't. The prescription records, Catherine, I got them. August 12th, 1999. You bought mifepristone, an abortion pill. 2 weeks later, you started prenatal vitamins. You didn't stop the abortion because you had a change of heart. You stopped it because you found out whose baby you were carrying. Her face went white. How did you? It doesn't matter how. What matters is that you knew. For 24 years, you knew Jennifer was his, and you let me raise her. You let me love her. You let me think she was mine. Catherine stood up, paced to the window, looked out at our backyard. The swing set I'd built for Jennifer when she was 3, the garden Catherine planted, the life we'd made. It was just once, James, she said, her voice cracking now, losing the lawyer control. A drunken mistake on our wedding night. That's all it was. I love you. I've always loved you. Jennifer is your daughter in every way that matters. Except biology. Biology don't. My voice came out harder than I intended. Don't tell me biology doesn't matter. Not when my granddaughter needs a bone marrow transplant. Not when I just found out my entire marriage is built on a lie. Catherine turned around. Tears on her face now. Real ones, maybe. Or maybe just another performance. What do you want me to say? She whispered. I want you to tell me the truth. All of it. Was it just once? She looked at me. Looked away. Yes. You're lying. I'm not. You're using your lawyer voice. The voice you use when you rehearsed your testimony. You practiced this, didn't you? How long have you known I'd find out? Catherine sat back down, slowly, like her legs wouldn't hold her anymore. When Dr. Patterson called about the genetic testing, she said, I knew the results would show. I knew you'd find out. How many years, Catherine? How many years have you been waiting for this conversation? She didn't answer. I stood up. Couldn't be in that room anymore. Couldn't breathe the same air. I'm sleeping in the guest room, I said, and tomorrow you're going to tell me everything, not the story you rehearsed, the truth. I walked to the door, stopped, turned back. 25 years, I said, Jennifer's entire life, and you let me believe a lie every single day. Catherine was crying, full sobs now, her hands over her face. I'm sorry, she choked out. God, James, I'm so sorry. But sorry doesn't rewrite history. Sorry doesn't change DNA. Sorry doesn't give me back the daughter who was never mine. I left her there, closed the door on 25 years of marriage, and somewhere in my head a question formed, small at first, then louder, If she lied about just once, what else is a lie? I didn't sleep. Spent the night in the guest room, scrolling through 24 years of photo albums on my phone. Jennifer's baby pictures, her first birthday, kindergarten graduation, every milestone I'd been there for. In every photo with my father, he held her differently than he held Michael Jr. and Ryan. My sons he held facing outward, showing them to the camera, proud grandfather display. Jennifer he held facing him, looking at her like she was his secret. At 6 a.m., my phone buzzed. Text from Catherine's sister, Martha. Can we meet today? It's important. Martha lived 2 hours away in Columbus. We weren't close. She'd always been distant with me, polite, but never warm. I'd assumed it was personality. Now I wondered. Coffee shop near you? I typed back. 10 a.m. I'll be there. I met Martha at a Starbucks off I-71. She was already at a corner table when I arrived, a manila envelope in front of her. She looked older than I remembered, 53 now, gray streaking her dark hair, Catherine's older sister by 3 years. Thanks for coming, she said. Didn't smile. I sat down. What's this about? Martha stared at the envelope, didn't touch it. Catherine called me last night, crying. She told me, you know. About her and my father? Yeah, I know. She told you it was just the wedding night? That's what she said. Martha laughed, bitter. Of course she did. She pushed the envelope across the table. What's this? Mom made me promise to burn this when she died, but that little girl, Lily, she deserves a bone marrow donor more than Catherine deserves protection. I opened the envelope. Inside, a single sheet of paper, hospital stationery, the handwriting shaky, deteriorating, line by line. Parkinson's disease, Marge had it bad at the end. The letter was dated March 2003, 22 years ago. To whoever finds this, I should have stopped the wedding. I knew something was wrong when Catherine came home from James's parents' house at Thanksgiving '98. She was different, nervous. William, James's father, looked at her like ownership. When she told me she was engaged to James, I was relieved. I thought whatever happened was over, but then she got sick at the bridal shower. Morning sickness, I thought. She was already pregnant. I asked her. She swore the baby was James's, said they'd been trying early, but I saw William's face when Jennifer was born, the way he held her, the way he looked at Catherine. I knew. I confronted Catherine when Jennifer was 2. She broke down, told me everything. It wasn't just the wedding night. It had been going on since Thanksgiving '98, 6 months before the wedding. William told her James wasn't good enough for her, that he could provide better, that James would never know. She got pregnant in March '99, didn't know whose baby it was. Bought an abortion pill in August. Then William convinced her to keep it. Said he'd make sure Jennifer had everything she needed. Catherine agreed if he'd stay in the marriage as grandpa. He agreed. I told Catherine to tell James. She refused. Said it would destroy him, destroy the family. William threatened to cut off James's business partnership if she told. So she stayed quiet, and I stayed quiet too. God help me. I'm dying now. Stage 4, maybe a month left. I'm writing this because someone needs to know the truth. Catherine has been lying for Jennifer's entire life, and William has been playing grandfather to his own daughter. I watched it happen for 25 years. I said nothing. I'm a coward. I'm sorry, James. If you're reading this, I'm sorry. Marge Wilson. The letter was written in shaky script. IV tape was still stuck to the corner, yellowed and brittle. The paper had been folded and unfolded so many times the creases were soft as fabric. Martha had read this 1,000 times. Mom made me swear, Martha whispered, on her deathbed. Burn it, she said, and don't let James find out. It'll kill him. But I couldn't burn it. I've been carrying it for 22 years. And now Lily's sick and I can't anymore. My hands were shaking. Thanksgiving 1998, I said. 6 months before the wedding, It wasn't one night, Martha said. It was never one night. The coffee shop was full of people, students with laptops, mothers with strollers, everyone living their normal lives while mine disintegrated. Mom knew, I said. She watched it happen for 25 years. She was terrified of William. He had money, power, connections. He threatened to destroy James's business if Catherine told. He threatened to claim Catherine was unstable, make her lose custody of Jennifer. Mom didn't know what to do. So she did nothing. She did nothing. I read the letter again, the dates, the timeline. Catherine had been sleeping with my father for 6 months before our wedding, got pregnant 3 months before we got married, considered an abortion, decided to keep my father's baby and pass it off as mine. There's more, Martha said quietly. More? She pulled out her phone, scrolled, showed me a photo, a calendar page. August 1999, handwritten notes in Catherine's writing. Aug 12, clinic, prescription. Aug 15, test results, call W. Aug 18, keep baby. W agrees to trust fund. Where did you get this? Catherine's old planner. She threw it away when she moved offices in 2003. I pulled it from the trash. I don't know why. Insurance maybe. Proof if I ever needed it. I stared at the photo. Call W. William, my father. She got paternity results, I said. That's why she stopped the abortion. Yes. And my father set up a trust fund to keep her quiet. Catherine's been getting monthly deposits for 24 years. $10,000 a month. Business consulting fees. I checked. $240,000 a year. For 24 years. Nearly $6 million. Jesus Christ. Martha took the phone back. James, I'm testifying. If you go legal, if you sue, if you do anything, I'm testifying against Catherine. She's my sister, but what they did, it's unforgivable. Does Catherine know you have all this? She's about to. I drove straight to Dr. Mitchell's office. He'd been our family physician for 15 years, delivered Ryan, treated all our colds and broken bones, the kind of small-town doctor who remembered birthdays. He was also bound by patient confidentiality, but I had Jennifer's medical power of attorney for Lily's case. That gave me legal access to family medical records for genetic consultation. I need Catherine's prescription history, I told him, August 1999 specifically, and I need it today. Dr. Mitchell looked uncomfortable. James, I can't just... Lily needs a bone marrow donor. The genetic testing revealed family inconsistencies. I have legal authority under medical necessity. He hesitated, then nodded. Give me an hour. I waited in my truck in the parking lot, called David. I need you to come over tonight, I said. I need my best friend. What happened? Everything. I'll explain later. David didn't ask questions, just said, I'll be there at 7. Dr. Mitchell called me back inside. He looked grim. This is highly irregular, he said, handing me a folder. But given the circumstances, I opened it. CVS pharmacy printout. 25 years old, but medical record lasts forever. August 12th, 1999, my Prestone 200 milliliter patient Catherine Wilson, prescribing physician Dr. Sarah Chen, Women's Health Clinic. Pharmacist notes, patient anxious, repeatedly asked about record privacy, confirmed HIPAA protections. Patient stated, husband cannot know. August 29th, 1999, prenatal vitamins, prescription strength. Patient Catherine Wilson, same physician. September 3rd, 1999, folic acid supplement. Patient noted changed mind about termination. The dates were highlighted by someone, probably Dr. Mitchell, in 3 different colors. A timeline of calculated choice. August 12th, abortion pill prescribed. August 29th, prenatal vitamins started. Somewhere between those dates, Catherine got paternity results, found out the baby was William's and chose to keep his baby instead of mine, or chose whose baby to keep. The pharmacist's note gutted me. Husband cannot know. She'd been lying from the beginning. I went home. Catherine was in the kitchen. She looked like she hadn't slept either. Makeup couldn't hide the circles under her eyes. I talked to Martha, I said. Catherine's coffee cup stopped halfway to her mouth. Set it down slowly. What did she tell you? Everything. Your mother's letter, the timeline, Thanksgiving 1998, the 6 months before our wedding, the trust fund. Catherine closed her eyes. And I got your prescription records, I continued. August 12th, 1999, mifepristone. You were going to abort. Then August 29th, prenatal vitamins. You stopped the abortion when you found out it was his baby. It wasn't like that. What was it like, Catherine? Because it looks like you got pregnant with my father's baby, considered killing it, then decided to keep it and pass it off as mine for 24 years while he paid you $10,000 a month to stay quiet. Her face crumpled. I was scared, she whispered. He said if I told you, he'd destroy your business. He said he'd make sure you lost everything. He said. What about what you wanted? What about what was right? I wanted you. Catherine's voice cracked. I loved you. I love you. But I was pregnant and confused. And William was he was so convincing. He said we could make it work, that you'd never have to know, that Jennifer would have everything she needed. She needed a father who was actually her father. You are her father. Biology doesn't... Stop saying that. I slammed my hand on the counter. Coffee sloshed out of Catherine's cup. You don't get to tell me biology doesn't matter. Not after you chose his DNA over mine. Not after you stopped an abortion specifically because it was his baby. Silence. Catherine was crying. I didn't care. It wasn't just the wedding night, I said. It wasn't one mistake. It was 6 months. It was systematic. It was every time you went to visit Martha or every business conference with my father. How many times, Catherine? How many times over 24 years? She didn't answer. How many? I don't know, she whispered. You don't know? We ended it, she said. When Jennifer was born, we ended it. It was just maintenance, occasional. He'd come by when you were coaching, or I'd meet him at the office, just to talk, just to fuck. She flinched. Don't put words in my mouth. Then give me the truth. Were you sleeping with my father for 24 years? Yes or no? Silence, long, heavy. Not consistently, she finally said, but yes, on and off, when things were stressful, when we needed... I turned and walked out. If I stayed, I'd say something I couldn't take back, or do something worse. Jennifer came over that night. I'd texted her, need to talk, bring Marcus. They sat on my couch, Jennifer and her husband, my daughter, except she wasn't. I told them everything. Martha's letter, the prescription records, the timeline, the affair that wasn't one night but 6 months before the wedding and 24 years after. Jennifer got quieter and quieter. Her face went pale, then gray. So, Grandpa, she whispered, Grandpa is your biological father, yes. Marcus put his arm around her. She didn't move, just stared at nothing. Every time he said I was special, Jennifer said slowly, every time he called me princess, every time he gave me gifts that were way too expensive, I thought I was his favorite grandchild. You were his daughter. I was his secret. Her voice broke. Every hug, every I'm proud of you. Every time he watched me at dance recitals. He wasn't my grandfather. He was my father, and he just watched me call another man dad my whole life. She stood up, paced, hands shaking. Did he groom me? She asked. All those times he said I was special, all those gifts, all that attention, was he grooming me? I don't know. How am I supposed to look at my childhood now? How am I supposed to remember anything without wondering if it was real or if it was just Just him playing a role. Marcus tried to pull her back to the couch. She jerked away. And Mom knew. She knew my entire life that I was calling the wrong man Dad. She knew Grandpa was really my father. She knew, and she let it happen. Jennifer, do Michael and Ryan know? Are they even my brothers? They're your half-brothers. They're mine. You're not. The words came out harder than I meant. Jennifer's face crumpled. I'm sorry, I said quickly. I didn't mean... No, you're right. She was crying now. I'm not your daughter. I never was. I'm his. I'm William Thompson's daughter, the man who destroyed your marriage. That's who I am. That's not who you are. Then who am I? She was sobbing, full body shakes. I don't know anymore. I don't know who my father is. I don't know if my childhood was real. I don't know if anything I remember is true. I stood up, crossed the room, pulled her into my arms. You're Jennifer, I said. You're the girl I taught to ride a bike. You're the one who made me watch Frozen 47 times. You're the woman who married a good man and gave me a granddaughter. You're my daughter in every way that matters. But not biology. Fuck biology. She looked up at me, shocked. I never cursed in front of her. I've been your dad for 24 years, I said. I was there for every nightmare, every skinned knee, every heartbreak. I walked you down the aisle. I was in the delivery room when Lily was born. That's real. That's not a lie. The only lie is who provided the DNA. Jennifer held on to me like I was the only solid thing in the world. He stole this, she whispered. William stole this from us, the simplicity of it, the knowing I was yours. He took that. I know. I hate him. I know. Marcus came over, put his hand on Jennifer's back. We should go. You need to rest. But Jennifer pulled away from both of us, grabbed her purse, pulled out her phone. I need to see him, she said. Who? William, Grandpa, whatever he is. I need to see him. Jennifer, he has dementia. He won't... I don't care. I need to look him in the eye and ask him why. I need to hear him say it. We drove to Willowbrook Memory Care the next morning. All three of us, me, Jennifer, Marcus. The facility was nice, expensive. I'd been paying for it for 2 years, since William's dementia got bad enough he couldn't live alone. Now I wondered if Catherine had been paying for it with William's hush money. The nurse led us to the common room. William was in a recliner by the window, staring at nothing. He looked small, fragile, not the man who'd destroyed my life. Dad? I said. He turned, looked at me with empty eyes. Do I know you? 24 years of rage evaporated. He didn't remember. Not me, not Catherine, not the affair, not Jennifer. The revenge I'd been imagining disappeared like smoke. You're my father, I said. William Thompson. I'm your son, James. He smiled, confused, polite. That's nice. Do you work here? Jennifer stepped forward. Her hands were clenched into fists. Do you know who I am? She asked. William studied her. You're very pretty. Do you work here too? I'm Jennifer, your granddaughter. Or your daughter. Which is it? Nothing. No recognition. I'm sorry, he said. I don't remember. My memory isn't very good anymore. Jennifer's face twisted. 24 years of being called princess and special. 24 years of gifts and attention and love from a man who'd been her father pretending to be her grandfather, and he didn't remember any of it. You stole my childhood, Jennifer said, her voice shaking. You stole my dad. You stole everything, and you don't even remember. William looked at the nurse. Is she upset? Did I do something wrong? The nurse put a hand on Jennifer's arm. Maybe we should go. But Jennifer wasn't done. You watched me call another man Dad my entire life. You watched him love me. You watched him raise me, and you knew. You knew I was yours. How could you do that? William's expression shifted. For just a moment, 1 second, something flickered behind his eyes. Recognition, maybe, or guilt. Then it was gone. I'm sorry, he said. "I don't know what you mean. Would you like some cookies? They have cookies here." Jennifer broke, fell into Marcus's arms, sobbing, the kind of crying that has no sound, just shaking. I looked at my father, this man who'd raised me, taught me to throw a baseball, walked me through my first business plan, held my sons when they were born. This man who'd fucked my wife on my wedding night and for 24 years after, who'd paid her to keep quiet, who'd watched me raise his daughter and said nothing. And now he was gone. The dementia had taken him before I could even confront him properly. "Goodbye, Dad," I said. He smiled at me. "Goodbye. Come back anytime." We left. In the parking lot, Jennifer threw up, just bent over and vomited into the landscaping. Marcus held her hair. "He doesn't get to escape," she said when she could speak again. "He destroyed everything, and he just gets to forget. That's not fair." "I know. Where's the justice?" I didn't have an answer. That night, I went back to the storage unit. This time, I was looking for something specific, William's personal effects. When he moved to memory care, I'd packed up his house. Most of it went to charity, but I'd kept boxes of papers, photos, personal items. For posterity, I'd thought. For evidence, it turned out. I found it in the third box, a leather journal, brown, worn smooth where his thumb rested, the same spot for years of writing. I opened it. The first entry was dated January 1998. His handwriting was confident, architect's precision. January 15th, 1998, James brought his girlfriend to dinner, Catherine Wilson. Smart, beautiful, too good for him. My stomach dropped. I flipped forward. March 1998, Catherine came by the office today, said she needed career advice. We had coffee. She understands ambition in a way James never will. November 1998, Thanksgiving. Catherine helped me in the kitchen. We talked about James's limitations. She deserves better than a high school baseball coach. I could give her better. I told her so. She didn't say no. December 1998. Catherine came to the lake house this weekend. James thinks she's visiting her mother. We have an understanding now. She'll marry James. He'd be devastated if she didn't, but she'll be mine in the ways that matter. April 1999. Catherine's pregnant. She's panicking. Doesn't know if it's mine or James's. I told her to wait for the test. If it's mine, we'll figure it out. If it's his, we'll end this. Either way, James can't know. August 1999. Test came back. The baby is mine. Catherine wanted to end it. I convinced her to keep it. I'll set up a trust fund, monthly payments. She agrees if I stay in James's life as grandpa. Deal made. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, just kept reading. March 2000, Jennifer was born today, my daughter. She has Catherine's eyes and my nose. James thinks she's his. He cried when he held her. I felt nothing but satisfaction. June 2015, Jennifer got accepted to State University, our daughter. I paid the tuition, $45,000 a year, but James thinks it's his parental duty. The irony is delicious. Delicious. He thought destroying me was delicious. September 2017, Jennifer graduated today. James gave a speech about being proud of his daughter. Teared up, pathetic. I paid for her education. I ensured her success. But he gets the tears. He gets the thank you. He gets the best dad mug. I get nothing but Catherine's promises that someday we'll tell her. We never will. The last entry was December 2018. The handwriting was starting to deteriorate. Letters wobbled. December 25th, 2018, Christmas. Jennifer brought her boyfriend Marcus. James gave them his blessing. I wanted to object. Marcus isn't good enough either. But Catherine says I can't interfere anymore. Jennifer can't know. No one can know. This secret dies with us. I regret nothing. I closed the journal, sat there in the storage unit surrounded by boxes of a life I'd thought I knew. My father had been sleeping with my wife since before my wedding, had gotten her pregnant, had paid her for 24 years, had written about it like it was a game he was winning. The irony is delicious. I regret nothing. I called David. Come over. I said, and bring a bottle of something strong. I just found my father's journal. It's all in there, everything. David came over. Read the journal. Got quiet in that way that means he's furious. Jesus, James. Yeah. What are you going to do? I don't know. He's got dementia. I can't even confront him properly. He doesn't remember any of it. And Catherine... I laughed. No humor in it. Catherine lied for 24 years. Took his money. Played the perfect wife while sleeping with my father. You have to tell people. Tell who? Everyone. The family. Your friends. The church. And say what? My father was fucking my wife and I was too stupid to notice? David grabbed my shoulders. You weren't stupid. They were good liars, and you trusted them because that's what you do when you love people. I was the only one who didn't know, I said. Everyone else must have seen it. The way they stood together, the way he touched her. How did I miss it? Because you weren't looking for it. I found out the next day I wasn't the only one who'd been blind. Tom Harrison called me. He'd been William's business partner for 30 years, built houses together, made millions. James, I heard about the DNA test. Is it true? Small towns, news travels. Yeah, it's true. Silence on the line. I'm sorry, Tom said. I should have told you years ago. My blood went cold. Told me what? Your father used to talk. After too many drinks, he'd say things about Catherine, about how some sons don't deserve what they have. I thought he was just being an asshole. I didn't think... He told you? Not directly, but he implied. Said Catherine understood him in ways you never did. Said he'd ensured Jennifer had opportunities you couldn't provide. I thought he meant money, business connections. I didn't realize he meant that he was her father. Yeah. I hung up. Linda Martinez called an hour later. Our next-door neighbor for 15 years. James, honey, I heard. I'm so sorry. Did you know? A pause. Too long. Linda, did you know? We thought you had an arrangement, she said quietly. Catherine and William were so obvious at the neighborhood barbecues, standing close, whispering. We thought you knew. We thought you'd chosen to overlook it for the family's sake. When you didn't react, we assumed you'd made your peace with it. I didn't know. Oh, God. James, we thought... Everyone thought you knew. Who's everyone? The neighborhood, your friends, people at church. We all thought it was an understanding you had. Some marriages work that way. We didn't judge. You all knew. We thought you knew. I hung up. Ruth called from church, then Mike from the baseball league, then Catherine's coworker, Sarah. They'd all seen it. They'd all assumed I knew. Not one of them had told me. I was the only person in the entire town who didn't know my wife was sleeping with my father. Jennifer came back over that night. She had papers in her hand. I want to change my name, she said. What? Legally, I'm changing my last name from Thompson to Brooks, Marcus's name. I don't want to be a Thompson anymore. Jennifer, and I got a DNA test kit for Michael Jr. and Ryan. I need to know if they're my full brothers or half brothers. I need to know if he's their father too. They're mine. I know they are. You knew I was yours, and you were wrong. I couldn't argue with that. She put the papers on the table. Name change petition. Will you sign as a witness? She asked. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. I can't be Jennifer Thompson anymore. That person doesn't exist. She never did. She was a lie William and Mom made up. I need to be someone real. I signed the papers. Jennifer Brooks. Not my daughter by blood, but mine by choice. No one told you, Jennifer said, about them. Everyone knew but you. Apparently. That's fucked up. Yeah. She sat down, looked exhausted. Lily's chemo had been hard on everyone, but Jennifer looked like she'd aged 5 years in 2 weeks. What are we going to do? She asked. I don't know. We can't just let this go. We can't pretend it didn't happen. What do you want to do? Jennifer looked at me. Her eyes, Catherine's eyes, I realized, not mine, were hard. I want everyone to know what they did. I want Mom to lose everything she built on lies. I want William's name dragged through the mud, even if he doesn't remember. I want justice. That's public. That's humiliating. Good. They should be humiliated. We didn't do anything wrong. They did. I thought about it. The church, the town, the business, my reputation. Then I thought about Catherine's face when she lied to me. My father's journal. The irony is delicious. Okay, I said, let's burn it all down. Catherine was organizing a fundraiser for Lily's medical expenses. It was scheduled for Saturday night at St. Michael's Church, the same church where we got married 25 years ago. 200 people had RSVP'd. The church ladies were making casseroles. The PTA was donating a silent auction. Catherine had been working on it for 3 weeks. Flyers, donation jars with Lily's picture, a presentation about childhood leukemia, and the importance of bone marrow donation. She didn't know I was coming. Jennifer and I arrived at 6:30. The church fellowship hall was packed. I saw neighbors, business partners, church members, parents from the baseball league, Linda Martinez, Tom Harrison, Ruth from the women's ministry, everyone who'd known and said nothing. Catherine was at the front of the room, setting up a microphone. She wore her best dress, navy blue, professional, the one she wore for closing arguments. Her hair was perfect, makeup flawless, the picture of a devoted mother and grandmother fighting for her family. I walked to the AV booth in the back. David was already there. We'd planned this. You sure? David asked. I'm sure. Catherine tapped the microphone. Feedback squealed. Everyone quieted. Thank you all for coming, she said, her voice steady, warm, practiced. As many of you know, my granddaughter Lily has been diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. She's only 2 years old. She's been through 3 rounds of chemotherapy, and she needs a bone marrow transplant to survive. People nodded, sympathetic murmurs. The genetic testing revealed some complications with finding a family donor, but we're not giving up. We're here tonight to raise money for Lily's treatment and to spread awareness about bone marrow donation. Every person in this room could be a match for someone. You could save a life. She smiled, held up a donation jar with Lily's photo on it. I want to thank my husband James for his support during this difficult time. Actually, I said from the back of the room. My voice carried. Everyone turned. I have a different kind of testimony tonight. Catherine's smile froze. I nodded to David. He hit a button on the laptop. The projection screen behind Catherine lit up. First image, the genetic testing report, yellow highlighted sections. 0% paternity probability, James Thompson, Jennifer Thompson. Murmurs in the crowd, confusion. What is this? Catherine asked, her voice pitched higher. Second image, the prescription records, August 12th, 1999. Mife Prestone, August 29th, 1999. Prenatal vitamins. Pharmacist notes, patient anxious, repeatedly asked about record privacy. Patient stated, husband cannot know. The murmurs got louder. Catherine went pale. James, stop this! Third image, Marge's letter. The opening line enlarged. I should have stopped the wedding. I knew something was wrong when Catherine came home from James's parents' house at Thanksgiving '98. Someone gasped. I saw Ruth cover her mouth. 25 years ago, I said, walking down the center aisle toward the front, my wife Catherine and my father William began an affair. It started 6 months before our wedding. On our wedding night, while I was passed out drunk in our hotel room, she was with him. She got pregnant. Initially tried to abort the baby. Then discovered it was his. Decided to keep it. He paid her $10,000 a month for 24 years to stay quiet. The room exploded. Questions, shouts. Catherine tried to speak into the microphone, but the feedback screamed over her. Fourth image, William's journal. Selected entries, names redacted, but dates clear. Jennifer got accepted to state. Our daughter. I paid the tuition, but James thinks it's his parental duty. The irony is delicious. My father wrote that, I said, and about my daughter, except she's not my daughter, she's his. And he thought it was delicious to watch me raise his child. I reached the front, stood next to Catherine. She was shaking. The genetic testing proved it, I continued. Jennifer Thompson, the daughter I raised for 24 years, is biologically my father's child, not mine. Catherine knew. She always knew, and she lied every single day for 24 years. Catherine grabbed my arm. James, please, not like this. Think of Lily. I am thinking of Lily. She needs a bone marrow donor. We couldn't find one in our family because our family was built on lies. You destroyed any chance of simple genetic matching when you decided to sleep with my father and pass his child off as mine. Jennifer stood up from where she'd been sitting in the third row, walked to the front, stood next to me. I'm Jennifer Brooks now, she said to the room. I legally changed my name last week. I don't want to be a Thompson. I don't want to carry the name of the man who destroyed my childhood or the woman who led him. She looked at Catherine. You're my mother. You gave birth to me. But you stole my father from me, not James. He's still my dad. But you stole the simple truth of knowing who I am. You let me call my biological father Grandpa my entire life. You let him give me gifts and call me princess and tell me I was special. And the whole time, he wasn't my grandfather. He was my father, and you knew. Catherine was crying now, mascara running, the perfect facade cracking. I'm sorry, she sobbed. Jennifer, I'm so sorry. You're sorry you got caught, Jennifer said. Not sorry you did it. The room was silent. 200 people watching a family implode. Tom Harrison stood up. Is this true, Catherine? Catherine didn't answer, just stood there crying. Ruth stood up next. You let us organize this fundraiser. You let us donate money. You stood up here talking about family and loyalty, and the whole time... She was running a con, Linda Martinez said, cold, for 25 years. One by one, people stood up and walked out. The church ladies, the PTA board, the neighbors, the business partners. By the time the exodus ended, only 30 people remained. Most of them were there to watch the crash. Catherine sank into a chair, covered her face with her hands. I loved you, she whispered, so quiet I almost didn't hear. I did love you, James. You loved what I represented, I said. Stability, respectability, the perfect cover. But you loved him more. I turned to leave. Jennifer followed. At the door, I looked back. Catherine was alone at the front of the church. The donation jar with Lily's picture sat on the table next to her. The projection screen still showed her prescription records. For what it's worth, I said, Olga, I hope you find a way to live with yourself. We left. Behind us, I heard Catherine's sobs echoing in the empty fellowship hall. The news spread before we made it to the parking lot. By Sunday morning, it was on Facebook. By Monday, the local newspaper picked it up. By Tuesday, it had gone viral. Local lawyer's 25-year affair with father-in-law exposed after granddaughter's DNA test reveals fraud. The comments were vicious. How could she live with herself? That poor man. The daughter must be traumatized. The father is disgusting. They should both be in jail. Catherine's law firm called her Monday morning, asked her to resign. She did. Tuesday, the Ohio State Bar opened an investigation. Insurance fraud, document forgery. Jennifer's birth certificate listed me as the father, a legal document Catherine had signed knowing it was false. That's fraud. Wednesday, Catherine was arrested, posted bail, came home to find divorce papers on the kitchen table. Thursday, Michael Jr. and Ryan called me. Their DNA tests came back, both mine, both my biological sons. They wanted to file restraining orders against Catherine. She lied about Jennifer, Michael Jr. said. What else did she lie about? We don't trust her anymore. Friday, the PTA held an emergency vote. Catherine was removed as president. Her church membership was suspended pending review, which everyone knew meant revoked. By the following Monday, Catherine had lost her career, her social circle, her church, and 2 of her 3 children. Jennifer wasn't speaking to her. Ryan and Michael Jr. had blocked her number. Catherine's sister Martha was testifying against her in the criminal investigation. And William was still at Willowbrook Memory Care, smiling at nurses and asking for cookies. He didn't remember any of it. I visited him one more time, 2 weeks after the church confrontation. The nurse led me to his room. He was sitting by the window looking at a photo album someone had left, pictures of a life he no longer remembered. "Dad," I said. He looked up, smiled politely. "Do I know you?" "You're my father, William Thompson. I'm your son, James." He nodded. "That's nice. Are you here to visit?" I sat down across from him, looked at this man who'd raised me, taught me, betrayed me. This man who'd written that destroying my life was delicious. "You stole everything from me," I said. "My wife, my daughter, 25 years of my life. You paid Catherine to stay quiet. You wrote in your journal about how pathetic I was. You watched me raise your child and thought it was funny." William looked confused. "I'm sorry, I don't understand." "You don't remember. You got dementia. You escaped. Catherine's facing criminal charges and you don't even remember what you did." "Did I do something wrong?" He looked genuinely concerned. "I'm very sorry if I hurt you." And that was it. No confrontation, no confession, no closure, just an old man with empty eyes who didn't remember any of it. "Yeah, Dad," I said, "you did something wrong. You destroyed your son's life, but you don't remember. So I guess you win." I stood up to leave. "Wait," William said. He grabbed my hand. His grip was weak. "I may not remember what I did, but I can see you're in pain. And if I caused that, I'm truly sorry. Whatever I did, I'm sorry." I looked down at him, this frail old man who used to be my father. "It doesn't matter anymore," I said. "You're already gone." I left. In the parking lot, I sat in my truck and cried, not for William, not for Catherine, for the father I thought I had, for the wife I thought I married, for the simple life I thought I was living. All of it gone. The revenge I'd imagined, confronting him, making him admit what he'd done, watching him face consequences, evaporated. He was already punished. Dementia took everything. His memories, his identity, his ability to understand what he'd destroyed. Was that justice? I didn't know anymore. The criminal trial happened in October. Catherine pleaded guilty to insurance fraud and filing false legal documents. The judge sentenced her to 2 years probation, 10,000 hours of community service, and ordered her to repay $48,000 in fraudulent insurance claims over the years. The state bar disbarred her permanently. She would never practice law again. The financial consequences were worse. Legal fees bankrupted her. She had to sell her car, downsize her apartment, get a job as a paralegal making $40,000 a year instead of the $300,000 she'd made as a partner. Her reputation was destroyed. The viral news articles meant a simple Google search showed everything. Future employers would see. Future friends would see. Everyone would know. "Mrs. Thompson," the judge said at sentencing, "you perpetrated a fraud that lasted a quarter century. You destroyed your family through systematic deception. While I'm bound by sentencing guidelines that prevent incarceration in this case, understand that you've lost everything that matters. Your career, your family, your standing in the community. You'll carry this for the rest of your life." Catherine stood there in her cheap suit, couldn't afford the expensive ones anymore, and nodded. "I understand, Your Honor." Michael Jr. and Ryan watched from the gallery. Didn't approach her afterward. Jennifer didn't come at all. William died 6 months later, pneumonia. He went peacefully in his sleep at Willowbrook. His obituary listed his accomplishments: successful architect, business owner, family man. It didn't mention what he'd done. The funeral was small. Jennifer didn't attend. Catherine did, sitting in the back, alone. I went, not for him, for the father he used to be before I knew the truth. At the graveside, Catherine approached me. James, don't. I just wanted to say, he left you everything, the estate, the business assets, all of it. He didn't leave me anything. I guess even he knew at the end that I didn't deserve it. You're right, you don't. She flinched, walked away. I never spoke to her again. The bone marrow donor search continued. Lily needed a match. The family was out. Too complicated. Too much genetic mess. We expanded to the National Registry. Then something unexpected happened. William had legitimate children besides me. 2 half-brothers I'd never met. From his first marriage, before my mother. They'd been estranged for 40 years. They saw the news articles, saw what William had done, saw that their niece, Jennifer, had a daughter who needed help. Robert Thompson called me in December. I'm your half-brother, he said. I know that's weird to say, but I'm also Jennifer's half-brother and Lily's great-uncle, I guess. It's complicated. Yeah. I got tested. I'm a match. Not perfect, but close enough. If you'll allow it, I'd like to donate. I sat down, couldn't speak. Why? I finally managed. Because our father destroyed a lot of things, but he didn't destroy that little girl, and he didn't destroy the woman you raised. I want to help, if you'll let me. Lily's transplant happened in February. Robert donated bone marrow. The procedure went well. Lily's body accepted the donation. By April, she was in remission. Jennifer met Robert and his family, her biological half-siblings. It was awkward at first, then less so. They didn't share childhood memories, but they shared DNA. And they shared the experience of having William Thompson as a father. He was terrible to us too, Robert's sister Anne said. Left when we were kids, never looked back. We're not surprised he hurt you. Jennifer nodded. I'm sorry he did that to you. We're sorry he did this to you. Something unexpected happened. They started having dinners, holidays. Jennifer's biological family, William's legitimate children, welcomed her, not to replace me, but to add to her family. One day in May, Jennifer brought me a card. This is from Robert, she said. I opened it. James. Our father destroyed a lot of things, but he didn't destroy the woman you raised. You loved her when biology said you didn't have to. That's what real fathers do. Thank you. Robert, Jennifer was reading over my shoulder. We both cried. You'll always be my dad, she said. No DNA test needed. No DNA test needed, I repeated. Just the man who showed up. A year after the church confrontation, I was back coaching baseball, the spring league, kids ages 8 to 10. I'd taken a season off, but the league asked me to come back. We need good coaches, they said. We need you. Jennifer brought Lily to practice one Thursday. Lily was 3 now, hair grown back in soft blonde curls after the chemo. She was healthy, thriving, no signs of leukemia. Robert's son, my nephew by blood, Jennifer's half-nephew, Lily's second cousin, was on my team. 9 years old, good arm, better attitude. Coach Thompson, he yelled, running over. Can I pitch today? We'll see, Danny. Warm up first. He ran off. I watched him throw with another kid. Natural motion. I'd teach him a curveball next season. Robert came over, shook my hand. Thanks for letting Danny play. He loves having you as a coach. He's a good kid. He talks about you all the time. Coach James said this. Coach James taught me that. You're important to him. I didn't know what to say to that. Jennifer sat on the bleachers with Lily. Marcus was at work. It was just them watching practice. Lily was eating goldfish crackers and cheering every time a kid hit the ball. Danny missed a catch. The ball rolled past him. Sorry, coach, he yelled. I tossed him the ball again. No worries. Try again. Keep your glove down. He caught it this time, grinned. Jennifer came down from the bleachers, stood next to me. You look happy, she said. I am. Is that allowed? Yeah, it's allowed. Lily ran over, hugged my leg. Pop, I'm hungry. Practice is almost over, sweetheart. 15 minutes. Okay. She ran back to the bleachers. Jennifer watched her go. She's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her. Robert told me what you said at the funeral, that you'd never speak to Mom again. I won't. I haven't either. She writes letters. I don't open them. You don't have to. I know. I wanted you to know I'm not conflicted. You're my dad. Biology doesn't change that. Biology doesn't change that, I repeated. Danny jogged over again. Coach, can I try pitching now? I looked at Jennifer. She smiled. Go, coach, she said. That's what you do. Practice ended at 6. The parents picked up their kids. Robert grabbed Danny, waved goodbye. Jennifer packed up Lily's snacks. The field emptied. I stood at home plate, looked at the diamond, the grass I'd helped maintain, the bases we'd painted last week, the scoreboard that always stuck on 7. This was real. This was mine. Not blood, not DNA, just showing up season after season, kid after kid, teaching them to throw, to catch, to lose with grace and win with humility. My phone buzzed. Text from David. Beer tonight? Yeah. See you at 8. Jennifer called from the parking lot. Dad, you coming? Yeah, 1 second. I picked up the equipment bag, locked the shed, turned off the field lights. Danny had left his glove on the bench. I grabbed it. I'd return it next practice. As I walked to my truck, I thought about William's journal. The irony is delicious. He'd thought he was winning, thought he'd gotten away with it, thought I was pathetic for not knowing. But I had Jennifer. I had Lily. I had a team of kids who called me Coach. I had Robert's family, my family now too. I had David. I had a life built on showing up. William had nothing but a grave and a destroyed reputation. Who really won? Jennifer was waiting by her car. Lily was in the car seat, already half asleep. You okay? Jennifer asked. Yeah, just thinking. About? About how blood doesn't lie. I paused, smiled. But love tells a better truth. Jennifer hugged me. That's what I tell Lily. When she asks why she has so many uncles and aunts and why Grandma Catherine can't visit, I tell her family is the people who show up. That's right. You always showed up, Dad. I always will. She drove away. I stood in the parking lot, watching her taillights disappear. Then I got in my truck and went home. No DNA test needed for family. Just show up. That's what I tell my team now.